Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be talking about books, and if you haven't seen my mid-year book video, I will link it in the cards and the description box for you because I knew there would be way too many books to talk about in one video. And this is still potentially going to be a long one, but I'm going to go through the books that I read from June until now, and then at the end I will give you my top books for the year. So if you want some new book recommendations, grab a nice hot drink or cold drink or drink of your choice, whatever you feel like, cozy up and let's talk about books. And if you're not a book person, I still suggest you watch this video because you never know, something might spark your interest. Back in June, I read the book Big Summer by Jennifer Weiner. I think it's pronounced Weiner. I'm not positive. This book did not turn out to be what I thought when I first started reading it. It started as one type of a book, and then it took a turn and became something different, but also better. I enjoyed it. Now, I have never read this author before, so I don't know if a lot of her books are this way, or if this was just this particular book, but hopefully I'll be able to read some other things from her in the future to find out. It wasn't a top favorite book, but it did keep my interest and was entertaining, and is one that I would recommend. Now, I did forget to mention I don't have most of these books physically because I tried to cut back on buying physical books because I don't have the space for them, and I've just been reading a lot more digitally this year. So I'll put pictures up on the screen for those that I'm talking about that I don't have the physical book, but I did want to try to give a little bit of a description of each because while I'm giving my thoughts, that doesn't really tell you what the book's about, so I also want to give a little brief description of each book. I rated it 3 stars, an unforgettable novel about friendship and forgiveness, set during a disastrous wedding on picturesque Cape Cod, 6 years after the fight that ended their friendship. Daphne Berg is shocked when Drew Kavanaugh walks back into her life, looking as lovely and successful as ever, with a massive favor to ask. Daphne hasn't spoken one word to Drew in all this time. She doesn't even hate follow her ex-best friend on social media. So when Drew asks if she will be her maid of honor at the society wedding of the summer, Daphne is rightfully speechless. I could go on, but that's a little bit longer of a description than I'd like, so I'm going to stop there, but you kind of get the idea. The next book I read was The World According to Mr. Rogers, Important Things to Remember by Fred Rogers. And it's filled with thoughts and quotes and inspirations from Fred or Mr. Rogers. I enjoyed it and had my favorite quotes, of course, throughout it. I wrote myself a note here that I took pictures of some of the favorite quotes. However, I've cleaned off my phone and those pictures are on my computer. So if I can find them before editing this video, I will put some of them on the screen for you. What are some of my favorite quotes that I read through the book? It's a quick read and really good if you're just looking for a little bit of inspiration and hope. Next is Behind Every Lie. I found this book to be interesting. It's not like anything I've read before. It does jump back and forth through time. There's lots of secrets and lies, hence the title. Some things surprised me and some I guessed. I don't want to give too much away, but it is a book that held my interest and I would recommend. So let me share the description with you. This one I rated 4 stars. If you can't remember it, how do you prove you didn't do it? Ava Hansen wakes in the hospital after being struck by lightning and discovers her mother, Kat, has been murdered. Ava was found unconscious down the street. She can't remember what happened, but the police are highly suspicious of her. Determined to clear her name, Ava heads from Seattle to London, Kat's former home, for answers. But as she unravels her mother's carefully held secrets, Ava soon realizes that someone doesn't want her to know the truth. And that's by Christina McDonald. And the next book I read is Whiskey in a Teacup by Reese Witherspoon. And I did enjoy this book. I liked hearing about Reese's life in the South. I especially like the part about hospitality, manners, and etiquette. It's nice to hear someone else talk about and value those things because it's not as common nowadays. And I think it's important, and I personally hope to get better at the hospitality part of it. I don't think I need to read a description of this one, but basically if you like Reese Witherspoon, I think you would like it. If you like hosting, I think you would like it. She gives tips and tricks of home decor, Southern hospitality. She includes recipes, so if you think that would be interesting to you, you might want to check that one out. This next book I listened to on audiobook, and it's called Choose Wonder Over Worry. Move Beyond Fear and Doubt to Unlock Your Full Potential. And it's by Amber Ray. So by listening to it on audiobook, it was the author's voice that was reading it. And I don't do audiobook that often, but I have been doing it more this year. I did enjoy it, but a lot of times found my mind wandering. Sometimes I find it hard to focus on audiobooks, especially in the car when I can get distracted by things. But there were certain sections that definitely kept my attention more than others, and some things she said really resonated with me. I do think it's worth a read if you are feeling stuck, unmotivated, or even a little lost. She also gives journal prompts if that's something you think you'd be interested in. The next book is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This one started out a little slow for me, but then it really picked up and kept my interest. It's a really intriguing mystery, but unfortunately it ends unresolved. Well, it's a trilogy, and I read all 3 books. So it keeps you wanting more, keeps you wanting to complete the trilogy to find out what happens. I do recommend it to you if you like mysteries, but do be prepared to have to or want to read those other books to get to the conclusion. This one I gave 4 stars. Ellingham Academy is a famous private school in Vermont for the brightest thinkers, inventors, and artists. It was founded by Albert Ellingham, an early 20th century tycoon who wanted to make a wonderful place full of riddles, twisting pathways, and gardens. A place, he said, where learning is a game. Shortly after the school opened, his wife and daughter were kidnapped. The only real clue was a mocking riddle listing methods of murder signed with the frightening pseudonym, Truly Devious. It became one of the greatest unsolved crimes of American history. The next one I read is Poor Unfortunate Soul, A Tale of the Sea Witch by Serena Valentino. This is so I've talked about her books before in that they're fractured fairy tales of the Disney stories focused on the villains. So this was another one in that series. This one focuses on Ursula, and it was an interesting and fun take on the story. I did find out that she wrote more than just the original 3 books that I've talked about, so I look forward to checking out the other 3 at some point. The second book in the Maureen Johnson series is called The Vanishing Stair, and I just said that I enjoyed it, but not as much as the first one. Then next I read Mr. Nobody by Catherine Steadman, and I did enjoy this one. It was different from anything else I've read, and it did keep me guessing. I recommend it if you like suspense, mysteries, or thrillers. I also gave this one 4 stars. A man lacking identification and unable to speak is found semi-conscious on a British beach and immediately draws national press as Mr. Nobody. But when neuropsychiatrist Dr. Emma Lewis is invited to assess him, she discovers he does recall something about her own past that no one else knows. And then after that, I read the 3rd in the Maureen Johnson series, which is called The Hand on the Wall. And I did enjoy that I was able to finish the trilogy, and the 3rd one I think gripped me the least, but I still enjoyed everything coming to a conclusion. So the next one I also listened to on audiobook, and it's Unfiltered by Lily Collins. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I really knew nothing about Lily Collins before reading or listening to the book, but I found myself relating to her in a lot of ways, and while I couldn't relate to everything about her, such as she had an eating disorder and some other things that she spoke about. Many of the things that she did speak about reminded me of myself, and it was an enjoyable read, and I found it interesting that I just picked it up off my list and listened to it and learned about her. And shortly after that, Emily in Paris came out, and it was kind of nice and helpful to know that much more about the actress playing that character. So if you liked Emily in Paris, I definitely recommend that one to you to learn more about Lily Collins. The next one is Undomestic Goddess by Sophie Kinsella, and she's the author of the Confessions of a Shopaholic books. And I did enjoy this one. It was a light-hearted, fun read that reminded me of a Hallmark movie. It was a nice change of pace and a break from all the murder and mysteries. I would like to read more from this author in the future, and do recommend this book to you if you like romantic comedies or female comedies. And when I said I would like to read more of this author in the future, I meant that because I'm currently reading a Christmas book from her right now, and I think there might be one other of hers on my list here, but we'll see. Okay, gave that one 4 stars as well. That seems to be my favorite rating. Workaholic attorney Samantha Sweeting has just done the unthinkable. She's made a mistake so huge it'll wreck any chance of a partnership. Going into utter meltdown, she walks out of her London office, gets on a train, and ends up in the middle of nowhere. Asking for directions at a big, beautiful house, she's mistaken for an interviewee and finds herself being offered a job as a housekeeper. Her employers have no idea they've hired a lawyer, and Samantha has no idea how to work the oven. So, it's comical and fun, and I enjoyed it. Next on the list is The Girls' Weekend by Jody German, I'm guessing. I did find this book to be entertaining and a good mystery and suspense story, and that's all I wrote. So let's get to the description. This one I gave 3 stars. Their reunion just became a crime scene. June Moody, a 30-something English professor, just wants to get away from her recent breakup and reunite with girlfriends over summer break. Her old friend and longtime nemesis, Sadie McTavish, a mega-successful author, invites June and her college friends to a baby shower at her sprawling estate in the San Juan Islands. June is less than thrilled to spend time with Sadie and her husband, June's former crush, but agrees to go. The party gets off to a shaky start when old grudges resurface, but when they wake the next morning and find something worse, Sadie is missing. The next one was The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley, and it wasn't a horrible book, but it wasn't a favorite of mine. It felt a bit repetitive and dragged a little bit for me. I didn't really find myself wanting to pick it up or feeling interested until the last quarter of the book. It was a struggle to get through until that last quarter. If you like suspense and mystery, you might like it, but I would definitely recommend other books before I recommend this one to you. And I know Lucy Foley has some bestseller, very popular books. I haven't read anything else from her, so I can't say how those ones are, but I didn't love this one. Although I did give it 3 stars, but yet I didn't like it as much as the Weekend Girl one. Everyone's invited. Everyone's a suspect. For fans of Ruth Ware and Tana French, a shivery, atmospheric, page-turning novel of psychological suspense in the tradition of Agatha Christie, in which a group of old college friends are snowed in at a hunting lodge, and murder and mayhem ensue. All of them are friends. One of them is a killer. I think the description got me more than the book itself. Now, in November, I listened to Campaign Widows because that seemed fitting for the month of November, or actually I finished it in November, so I had started it in October. But this was again an audiobook, and it was a fun, light read and very appropriate for the time. Oh, I wrote here, I read it and I happened to finish it on Election Day, and it's about the presidential election. I enjoyed the fact that some of it was focused on my home state, and certain sections I found myself very engaged, but others I found it hard to focus. A fun read, not a favorite, but again, I think the hard time focusing was because sometimes with audiobooks, I get distracted. I rated it 3 stars. It's an election season gone wild in this irresistible and whip-smart novel about a delicious cast of characters who forge an unlikely friendship while their significant others are out on the campaign trail. And then I was correct, I do have another Sophie Kinsella book on here that's not the Christmas one I'm reading right now. It's called Surprise Me. I did enjoy this book. It kept me entertained. It also has some surprise twists and turns that I wasn't expecting. It's focused on marriage and relationships. If you like romance or chick lit or just a light read, I recommend it. I rated this one 4 stars. After being together for 10 years, Sylvie and Dan have all the trimmings of a happy life and marriage. They have a comfortable home, fulfilling jobs, beautiful twin girls, and communicate so seamlessly they finish each other's sentences. However, a trip to the doctor reveals they could live another 68 years together, and panic sets in. They never expected until death do us part to mean 7 decades. In the name of marriage survival, they quickly concoct a plan to keep their relationship fresh and exciting. They will create surprises for each other so that their extended years together will never become boring. But in their pursuit to execute Project Surprise Me, mishaps arise and secrets are uncovered that start to threaten the very foundation of their unbreakable bond. This next book I was very excited for and highly anticipated, and that was Zoe Suggs' book that she did in collaboration with Amy McCullough, and it's The Magpie Society, One for the Sorrow. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be a trilogy, but this is book 1, and I think I learned about it in January or February, and it didn't come out until the end of October, but you could pre-order it in February, so I did, in order to get a signed copy. And you had to order it from England and not Amazon in order to get the signed copy. But because I love Zoe and I was very excited for this book, I decided to do that. I did really enjoy it. It wasn't too heavy or dark, but was still a great YA mystery. I felt engaged with the characters and enjoyed the differing perspectives from chapter to chapter. I felt it had a good amount of suspense and kept me guessing, and I can't wait for book 2. And when I say differing perspectives from chapter to chapter, there's 2 main characters, Audrey and Ivy, and one chapter could be from Ivy's perspective and then the other from Audrey's perspective. And so Zoe would have written like the Ivy chapters, and Amy wrote the Audrey chapters, and so they each kind of took a character's perspective and wrote those chapters, and that's kind of how they collaborated. But you get each character's perspective for the different chapters while still moving the story along, and I kind of like that format. To new student Audrey Wagner, a Lumen Hall is a mystery. The students scuttle around the echoing halls like they're afraid of something. Her new roommate Ivy is acting strangely. And what's with the school's weird obsession with magpies? To straight A star Ivy Moore Zhang, Lumen Hall is home. In fact, Ivy has big plans for this year, and she doesn't need a new roommate cluttering up her space, especially one who starts poking her nose in other people's business. But then the summer's tragic incident is wrenched to the fore when a mysterious podcast airs with one sinister headline, "I know who killed Lola, and one of you is next." So if you like YA or mysteries, I do think you would like that one. All right, next was another audiobook, and it's Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. I started listening to this kind of when I started watching Gilmore Girls because I was curious about it. I did enjoy it and enjoyed learning more about Lauren Graham. It's narrated by her, so again, I think it makes it more interesting because it's narrated by the author. I did skip over a lot of the Gilmore Girls parts because she'll go through the different seasons, and I didn't want it to all be spoiled for me because she even goes up to the new one that was on Netflix, I think. So I did skip a little bit of it to get past the Gilmore Girls parts, but it was interesting learning about her and her background and how she got to where she is and everything. But it was an entertaining book, and I would suggest listening to it on the audiobook. But if you like Gilmore Girls, I think you would really enjoy it. And the last book I'm going to talk about is the Thursday Murder Club, and I had high expectations for this book based on the description, but I have to be honest, despite its high rating and good reviews on Goodreads, I could not get invested or interested in it. I found it confusing and hard to follow at times, especially which characters were which, because there was a lot of characters to follow and I didn't know who was who half the time. I kind of felt I had to force myself to read it and get through it, and it was just slow and a hard to follow plot for me anyway. Maybe it was just me, but it doesn't happen to me often with books, and I didn't really enjoy that one. So it's by Richard Osman. I gave it 2 stars, and it says, for septuagenarians, I think that's how you say that, with a few tricks up their sleeves, a female cop with her first big case, a brutal murder, welcome to the Thursday Murder Club. In a peaceful retirement village, 4 unlikely friends meet weekly in the jigsaw room to discover unsolved crimes. Together, they call themselves the Thursday Murder Club. Elizabeth, Joyce, Ibrahim, and Ron might be pushing 80, but they still have a few tricks up their sleeves. So, again, the description got me, but I did not love the book. And just to touch on what I'm currently reading, in case you're interested, I haven't finished them, so I can't give them full reviews or ratings right now. But I'm reading The Christmas Sisters by Sarah Morgan, and I've never read a Sarah Morgan book, but I am enjoying this one. It, again, does it from the different sisters' perspectives for each chapter, and I think that keeps it interesting for me. I don't know exactly what genre it is, but the description says, in the snowy highlands of Scotland, Suzanne McBride is dreaming of the perfect, cozy Christmas. Her 3 adopted daughters are coming home for the holidays, and she can't wait to see them. But tensions are running high. Workaholic Hannah knows she can't avoid spending the holidays with her family 2 years in a row, but it's not the weight of their expectations that's panicking her. It's the life-changing secret she's hiding. Stay-at-home mom Beth is having a personal crisis. All she wants for Christmas is time to decide if she's ready to return to work. Seeing everyone was supposed to help her stress levels, not increase them. Posy isn't sure she's living her best life, but with her parents depending on her, making a change seems risky, but not as risky as falling for gorgeous new neighbor Luke. That should give you an idea. And I'm also listening to, on audiobook, another Sophie Kinsella, Christmas Shopaholic. And it is keeping my interest, it is entertaining, and I find myself laughing at it sometimes because of the main character being ridiculous with certain things. Celebrate Christmas with the ultimate shopaholic. Becky Brandon adores Christmas. It's always the same. Mom and Dad hosting, carols playing, Mom pretending she made the Christmas pudding, and the next-door neighbors coming round for sherry in their terrible festive jumpers. And now it's even easier with online bargain shopping sites. But if you spend enough, you even get free delivery. But this year looks set to be different. Unable to resist the draw of craft beer and smashed avocado, Becky's parents are moving to ultra-trendy Shoreditch and have asked Becky if she'll host Christmas this year. What could possibly go wrong? So it's fun and entertaining and makes me laugh, and I'm enjoying it so far. It's the audiobook, so I guess Sophie Kinsella is British, which I never, for some reason, realized when I would read the books. But when you're listening to it, you realize because the narrator reading it is British, so it kind of immerses you into the English world a little bit better. I'm proud to say I surpassed my reading goal for this year. I make a goal every year on Goodreads as part of their reading challenge of how many books I want to read in the year. And this year I set a goal of 30 because I always try to up it by a couple of books from the previous year. And I'm happy to say that I've met that goal and will surpass that goal, so I feel pretty good about that. But now I'm going to take a look and see what my top 5 books of the year were and share those with you. Now that I've looked, I can't give you a top 5 because there's more than 5 that I rated 5 stars because I was going to just go by 5-star ratings, but instead I will just go through the 5-star rated books for you. The first being The Six Scarlett by Samantha March. So this was the second book in her 6 series, and I do enjoy that series, and I did rate it 5 stars. And for that one, I'd say if you want to know more, go back and watch my other video or even last year's book video, and I give you more details. Next 5-star rated one is Shades of Sunshine, Lola Pink Mysteries number 3 by Gina Lamanna. I really enjoy this mystery series by Gina Lamanna. I don't know if she's going to write any more of the Lola Pink mystery series, but I do really enjoy it. However, I have picked up some of her other series that I haven't started yet that I'll be reading next year, so I'll be curious to see how those compare to the Lola Pink one. I also read the 3rd book in the To Boys I Loved Before series. The 3rd one is Always and Forever, Lara Jean, and I did give that a 5-star rating, did enjoy that one. And where those are third books in the series, I'm not going to give too much description. You can just go check out those other videos. Then the next 5-star is The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. I did talk about this in my mid-year book video, but I'll give you a quick description. Anna Fox lives alone, a recluse in her New York City home, unable to venture outside. She spends her day drinking wine, maybe too much, watching old movies, recalling happier times, and spying on her neighbors. Then the Russells move into the house across the way, a father, a mother, and their teenage son. The perfect family. But when Anna, gazing out her window one night, sees something she shouldn't, her world begins to crumble, and its shocking secrets are laid bare. A good mystery if you're looking for one, I recommend that one. The next 5-star is One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. And there is a sequel to this book. I haven't read it yet, but I'm hoping to soon. But just so you get a little bit of an idea, again, I talked about it in my mid-year video. The Breakfast Club meets Pretty Little Liars. One of Us is Lying is the story of what happens when 5 strangers walk into detention and only 4 walk out alive. Everyone is a suspect and everyone has something to hide. Pay close attention and you might solve this. In the same series as the Ursula book I mentioned is The Beast Within, which is the 2nd book in that series, and I did rate that one 5 stars. It's Beauty and the Beast related. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. Then there were quite a few that weren't 5 stars after that, so the next 5-star one was The Magpie Society. I did really enjoy it, as I said. So those were all the 5-star ratings I gave books in 2020. That's only 7 books out of 30 plus books. So not great, but I'm sure there was a lot of 4 stars as well, and I know there wasn't a lot of 1 or 2 stars, so it was probably a lot of average rating books. These are always tough to get through and can be long videos, but I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you liked hearing about the books I've read this year and what I thought of them. If you enjoy book videos and would like to see more of them from me in 2021, please let me know and let me know what you would like to see from me that's book related. I don't know what I could really do other than tell you about the books that I'm reading. I'm not the best at giving reviews because I never want to spoil anything for anyone, but yeah, if you think there are book videos that you would like to see from me other than the ones that I do currently, I would love your feedback on that, and I would certainly try to do them for you. But for now, I'm just going to stick with my mid-year and end-of-year book recap, and if I hear from you that you want something else, then that will happen in 2021. But be sure to leave me your book recommendations down in the description box. I'm always looking to add books to my TBR pile, and I just love having new authors and new books to check out, so I would love your recommendations. If you can't tell, my interests are typically mystery, thriller, chick lit, romance, and autobiographical. Thank you so much for watching this video and all of my videos throughout 2020. I'm going to take a short break from videos because there was a lot of them in December, as there always is, between Vlogmas and then the year-end videos. So I've been going non-stop with videos for the past month, so I'm going to take a short break, but I will be back soon with new videos for you, and I hope that you look forward to those. And until then, I hope you have a great day, a very happy new year, and I will see you soon. Bye.